And here we are. Hello, everybody.
Hey, everyone.
For some tea and some biscuits with Tara, always going the wrong direction.
Okay.
And B. How are you doing, Tara? Do
I'm
tell.
doing well. I'm tired, but I'm here. How are
I
you
was.
doing, B?
I'm doing great. I'm great.
You ready to discuss this book?
Oh, I just can't wait. Oh, I just can't wait. Yes. Now, I was just talking to Tara about the fact that today, this is her second live of the day. So, yeah, she's been a busy bee. She's been all over.
Yeah.
How long was your one this morning?
3 hours.
Good night. And it started at 8 a.m. your time, right?
Yeah, it was 8 to 11, but it was like reading sprints, and I did 45-minute reading sprints because I was like, whew, I'm barely awake here. Not after having to be up. I think he woke up around 2 a.m., and I was like, okay.
So, had you been up since 2 a.m.?
Well, I had slept in between, so like he would be up because I think he has the flu.
Oh no, let's knock on wood for Tara.
Yeah, don't take me down, please. So, but it was fun. I had fun doing it.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I loved seeing you doing that too. That was fun. That was so fun. We've got some friends here. Terry,
Hey,
hello.
Terry.
Hey, Lisa. Hi, Paige.
Hey, Paige.
Good
Hey, Scott.
afternoon, Sock. Hello, Phantom Rider. Hello, Mary. Oh, hi, Christina. Ended my DoorDash shift early because it's raining and snowing. And I'm not risking driving anymore. Good night. Oh my gosh. Crystal. Oh,
Crystal.
Crystal and I just became friends and followed each other on Goodreads. I'm like, how did this just happen? Just now. So glad we did. I was finally able to read one in time and join the chat. Yay! I feel so accomplished. You should, Crystal. You very much should. Hello, Abby Jean. Oh my gosh, Dee. What time is it over there, Dee? I could do math. Is it like 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. or something? We're so glad you're with us. She's in Ireland.
Okay.
So exciting. Lainey, hello. So glad you're joining us today. We've got a great group here to talk about Amy Rose Bennett's Up All Night with a Good Duke, book 1 of the Byronic Book Club. Oh, it's 8 p.m. Oh, good. Okay.
Oh, it's
Didn't
not
know
bad.
how to do
It's not
math.
too bad.
Wow, Dee. Sorry. Thank heavens it's not the math club. Not the math club.
Book club, not math club. So we're good.
Different. Yes. Well, I've heard so many things and so many different opinions about this book. I think we are going to have a very rich discussion today.
I think so too.
Oh,
Definitely.
yes. Oh, yes. So, we could always start the way. And we don't have, by the way, if you guys are wondering why Amy Rose Bennett is not here, she's Australian and she is on the other side of the world, obviously. Wow, I'm starting out well. Now I'm giving geography lessons. This is not geography club either.
We've got math, we get geography, and it's, literature.
You get it all. You really just get it. It's your one
It is
stop
the full
shop.
package here.
We aim to please. We aim to please. Anyway, it's nighttime where she is and she's sleeping. So anyway, she was going to do videos and she's been super duper busy. She and I got our signals crossed about what late March meant. And she thought I meant next weekend, which of course she did. I felt badly pestering her because she's so very busy. And then she messaged me this morning and said, "Hey, I'm going to work on these." I'm like, "Oh, it's today." And I'm so sorry. So I'm terrible. So we'll see. Perhaps she could, if she still feels like making videos. I said we'd be more than excited to see later, like in the next sprint, we could get to hear from her, just her thoughts. If she's not mad at me, we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, we'll find out. Christina says, "I didn't read the book. I've been reading my own thing." That's good for you.
There.
That's fine. You do it. You do you. But there can be book math involved in book club. Yes, it's not very good math, but there is math.
Yep.
I didn't get to the book either. Welcome still. Welcome still. You're going to get to hear from everyone who did read it what they thought, and then you can make your decision about whether you want to read it. She left a nice comment on my IG post about this book. Oh, yay!
Awesome. That's neat.
That's so cool, Sock. I love it. Oh, did you pair it with a candle? Did I miss that? She probably did, didn't she?
She did. I think so.
I need to see. I need to see what we paired it with. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And when I say we, I mean you paired it with. Anyway, I don't know what's happening. Apparently, I am tired. This is just peppermint tea. Now I wish that it were caffeinated, but there you have it. So anyway, well, she did. She did pair it with a candle.
I
So
figured as much.
yeah,
Yeah. I
yeah.
feel like maybe I did see her post.
May I project your post? No pressure. I'm part of the hive, so we works. Okay, good. I
Sock.
love it so much, Sock. Oh my gosh, I love it. Okay, so got a ton of banners. There's a lot to talk. Tara
Yeah,
gave it a
see?
like. I'm gonna
I knew
like
I
it.
thought I saw it.
I'm gonna like it too. I can go ahead. Okay, yes. I'm gonna do that right this minute. I'm gonna show off bargain counter argument, right? Bargain counter argument. I can't wait to see this post. This is very exciting. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right, everybody, get ready.
Drum roll.
I know. I love this. Time for some Victorian romance. Up All Night with a Good Duke by Amy Rose Bennett, author. And considering the bookish backdrop to the scene of passion, this vintage book's scented candle from at D Whom Candles seems like the perfect pairing. How fun! So, Sock, did you burn this candle while you were reading? Because I just love that.
Oh, that's fun.
Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
One thing I realized just now that I did not put a banner up. Some people were mentioning that they weren't thrilled with the narration for the audiobook, that the male voice sort of grated on some people's nerves. I physically read this, but then I actually also listened. I love kind of being able to flip-flop between, but it didn't bother me. The narration, I can only assume there's only one audiobook available, like with one
Yeah. It
writer.
didn't bother me either.
Yeah. Thoughts? Anyone who listened, what were your thoughts? Because I heard a lot of other people saying that they weren't super fond of it. DW Home Candles, like the post too. Oh my gosh, neat. I know, isn't that great? Emily, she does these for just about every book that she reads, I think, right? I mean, Sock could tell you more, but yeah, so many fun posts.
I feel like Sock, you would have a lot of candles too.
She does have so many candles. I remember when I had her on in my morning show, we got to interview her about her candles, and we went over some of her favorite pairings. And she said that the vast majority of the candles she already owns. It's rare that she goes out to shop for a candle to go with the book. I just love that she already like has it and can pair it. For me, I'd be like, okay, now I got to go out and shop and find a candle.
Yeah. I think I have one or two around the house.
Most of mine are fall because my gosh, I love candles.
Same. I love fall candles.
Love. Very cute post, Sock, and an appropriate candle choice. Yes.
Yeah.
She does it for pretty much all the books she reads. I tried to listen to the audiobook, says Crystal, because I like to jump between two. Yeah. Didn't like the narration. See, you're in good company. A lot of people felt that way. Physically read instead. Physically read. Interesting. I read it with my eyeballs and my dry contact lens. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh, I love it. And they're saying thank you. Yeah. So did you have a preference or did you just listen to it, Tara?
I just listened to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But it was funny. I was very cognizant to whether or not, because, and you guys can talk about this in the comments, do you ever feel that when you're listening to an audiobook that the narration could impact your rating? It certainly can impact enjoyment, I think.
Yeah.
But I've been fearful of that a time or two where the narration really isn't working for me. And I'm like, oh, I don't want this to impact how I review the book.
Yeah.
It's kind of tricky. So
I've only had one where I think it really annoyed me. But that with narration. For the most part.
I can feel, I definitely remember some. I can't think off the top of my head of any particular instances. I'm trying to remember.
I think mine was an Audible original. There were 2 Audible originals, I think.
Really?
Like, yeah, one was like the complete narration. And like one of it was, do you know what I'm talking about? Where they have like I don't know what it's called.
Yes, like an ensemble cast and
And some of the like the breathing. I was like, I don't need to hear the breathing.
The breathing.
I was like,
That's too funny. You know what? I can think of one, but it wasn't a romance. It was a self-help book called Un-F Yourself, if you will. And the guy had he was really intense and he had this Scottish brogue. And I think I listened to I don't know, less than a minute. And I was like, nope, there's no way I can do this.
There was one that was similar. It was, I don't know if he was Irish or Scottish or something, but there was an accent and I was like, I don't know if I can understand you. I was like, I'm gonna put you down to 1. This is not how I read or how I listen.
Too funny. I think the audio can both improve a book and make it worse. Well said.
True, Lisa.
Mm-hmm. Good narration can raise ratings for me. Yes. Yes. Narration impacts my ratings. I hate to say, yeah. I don't think you're alone, Emily. Yeah, for sure. But that's why with this book, I was so careful to try both to see. Because when I heard everybody saying, I don't know if I love the narration, I was like, okay, I don't want that to impact anything. So anywho, Christina says narration that makes you daydream instead of focus on the book isn't a good thing.
True.
So true, Christina. You English native speakers are so weird with not understanding accents. Terry,
I'm going to send it to you. It was rough.
I think we need to hear what Terry thinks.
Because I'm not picky at all when it comes to accents or to narration. It was rough.
She's ready. She's ready, Tara.
Come on. You got Audible originals over there. The Summer Melt.
The Summer Melt. Emily March?
I think so.
I felt the same way. Oh, I did not even mean to do that.
Terry, are you thumbs downing us?
No, I didn't.
I'm just kidding, Terry.
I did. That always distracts me so terribly. I love the Scottish accent. I usually do too. I truly usually do.
I don't know if he's truly Scottish and he was pretending to have a Scottish accent. Ooh. That's what I think what was going on. And I was like, oh, this is rough. This is not it.
I was meeting with Nikki Pascarella and Giovanna her name is so hard to say, Siniskalki. Yesterday, we were rehearsing for the live show that's going to be on Tuesday night for the medieval reading thing. And I said to them, because some of these really, they want me to read it by myself. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try. Because I was like, we could trade. We could take turns. They're like, nope, we don't. We just want you to read it. I was like, okay. Like, how do we feel about Americans doing British accents? And I know. Look, Tara's face. And they're like, no, I think you should try it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try it. I was like, it's not going to be like Dick Van Dyke and Mary Poppins, but it's going to be better. It's not. It's not. Just kidding. I promise. I don't promise much better than that, though. I did pass this by them first. I was like, how do we feel?
Yeah.
And they were like, do it. So we'll see. Dee says, I read the physical books of Outlander years ago and loved them, but did not like the audio.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sock says, when I speak French in Paris, I get compliments on my accent. Oh, Sock. In Montreal, they look like they hate what I'm doing to their language and don't understand what I'm saying. Oh my gosh. Before I watched Outlander, I wasn't aware that you could roll your R in English. Oh, interesting. 100% are accurate, Sock. Very interesting. Okie dokie. So, why don't we just talk about different aspects of this?
Okay, I'm ready.
So,
do you want to give ratings?
No, I don't, Tara. No, I don't.
I will share my rating because all
right, fine. Okay. It's my first banner and I was going to skip it and you're like, no.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So, people.
I gave it a 4, people.
You tell us. Oh, did you just say it? Oh, you did, didn't you? I'm going to stop talking.
No, you're good.
Is this a read? Or is this a reread or a first time read for you? And what was your rating? Do tell everyone in the comments and also Tara. I do want to hear.
It was the first time read ever for any Amy Rose Bennett. I haven't read any. This is my first one. I did end up giving it a 4.
Nice, nice. And then those of us in the comments that would also like to share. Ooh, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
twins. Alicia says, first time read, 4 stars. Excellent. Love that. Phantom Reader, first time reading, it was a 5-star. First time read, 4 stars. Bursts
Okay.
into the room and dives into her chair. I made it. Deborah.
You're here.
Hey, Deborah. Deborah, we're rating the book that we read. And Amy Rose Bennett's Up All
Night with a Good Duke.
Holding this up. And then we are talking about whether or not it was a reread or the first time read, and it's giving it our rating. So yeah. First time, and I don't rate, but I liked it fine. That's what I said. That's what I said too. First time read, 5 stars. Yay, Abby Jean.
Wow, Abby Jean.
I love that. First time with this author, 3.5 stars. Okay. I love that people are including if it was the first time with the author too. That's good. Yeah, I hadn't read her before. So yeah. Paige says, this was my first read of the book and I gave it a 4-star read. I'm still in a reading slump, so I kind of factor that into account when I was reading this. Okay, that's a good point. For me, I think my enjoyment, speaking of kind of going off of what Paige just said, I think my enjoyment may have been impacted because I had just come off of reading fabulous book against fabulous book against fabulous book. And then for me this one, I didn't connect with this one for whatever reason. And so it was, I don't know. I just didn't work for me. And I do wonder though, if it has to do with the fact that I read so many like 5-star, 4.5 stars right up to this one. So that could be another factor.
That definitely, I feel like, affects.
Yeah. Yeah. I do rate if Abby Jean tricks me into it though. That's great.
That's funny.
Terry says, first time that book, but I read 2 novellas from Amy Rose Bennett that I liked more than that one. I don't rate, but it was okay. All right.
Okay.
Fair. That's fair. Almost would have been 5 stars if not for a couple of things. And we will be talking about those things.
Yeah. It just didn't give me the 5-star feeling. I definitely I'm a feelings person. And if it doesn't give me that 5-star feeling, like that, I kicked my legs and giggled. You know, or I cried, sad, happy tears.
Yeah.
You know?
I had to look up the word truncheon, and then I kind of regretted it.
You know what? I just went with it. I didn't even look it up.
Well, I mean, by the time we get to Titanic truncheon, I'm like, okay, I need to know what a truncheon is. Like, I have a guess of what it looks like, but then I looked it up and I was like,
oh, I just looked it up.
Okay. When I was meeting with Giovanna, we were talking about, me reading her book that may have some spice in it. I was like, please don't use the word truncheon. Like, I'm just coming off this book. Anything but that. The order in which I read books also affects me. Okay, thank you, Emily. That makes me feel better. Yes.
It definitely does.
Yeah, Lainey, I gave it to 50%, but DNF'd. It was not for me. Again, this kind of makes me feel a little bit better, but I love this. I love having a discussion like this and Tara and I were just talking about how sometimes Tara will like something and I won't like it as much, and then vice versa. So, it's just different things for different people. I haven't looked it up and now I am convinced I shouldn't. Don't do it. Don't look it up. Truncheon. We're talking about truncheon. Same, Tara. I gave my 5 stars for my elite reads when I get that star feeling. Yes. Me too, B. I read it in between very great reads, and it is maybe why I didn't overlike it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This makes me feel so much better. Oh, why did I look up truncheon? Why, Crystal? Why? Don't
what
do it.
What are you guys getting for truncheon? Because I'm not getting anything horrible.
Well, did you look up images for truncheon? That's part of
no. I just looked. It says a short, thick stick carried as a weapon by a police officer. I mean,
yeah, that's fine.
Okay. I looked up images. Okay, we're done.
I don't know that I needed it the number of times that I got it.
Yeah. I honestly thought it was her little way of cursing.
She did have some fun
Did she
vocabulary.
compare it? Maybe I missed that part. Did she compare it to some sort of male anatomy?
Yeah, she refers to his love truncheon like a million times. And then at a certain point, she refers to his Titanic truncheon. Like,
Yes, I remember that one at the
that
end.
made it even better. Wow, great. Nicole says
Yeah.
DNF'd around page 50, 2.5 stars rounded up. I would pick it up again, convince me. Some of us might be able to. We'll see. I'm curious. Nicole, you have to let us know at the end of this whether you've been convinced or not. Deborah, oh. Yes, your mood or following behind a really good book can definitely affect how you feel about a book. Yes, thank you. Oh my
Book
gosh.
hangover is real.
Truly,
Mhm.
truly.
Like, especially a good one.
I know. But why though? There are better euphemisms. Yes.
There are.
Yes, I know. And it's used so many times. So very many times. Okay. Let's talk about this. Was the ghost of Juliet real? I'm just going to jump into one of my favorite exciting questions. We see at one point
Oh,
we have Dominic. He's haunted by his wife. People believe that he murdered her, unalived her, to say that in a nicer way. And at one point, Artemis is sort of exploring his home. She gets kind of the willies. And I almost wondered, what is happening here? And I was just kind of wondering what your thoughts were as the reader.
yeah. I don't feel like she delved very far into that, but I feel like it was almost like because she's coming in to take over that household, or it's like a play on um just like that house is haunted because of the memories of what happened with the baby, and then obviously their son, and then her. And it's just, her story makes me so sad because you could tell it was likely postpartum of some sort, and like
Mhm.
to not know that back then, and him to try so hard, and like I was like, oh, he like blamed himself, but he tried not knowing,
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Like they didn't know.
They didn't know. They didn't know. Absolutely. Um, yeah. Terry says she thought it was the ghost of his infant, which was interesting. Yeah. And Phantom Rider says, no, I thought it was just a feeling she got because of the atmosphere of the place.
Yeah,
That's probably accurate just because they didn't follow that up. But
yeah, it
initially
was ghostly.
yeah. That felt a very throwaway thing, not well executed way of making the story feel gothic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she was just bringing in gothic vibes. Absolutely. And although this is, where is it? I guess I don't have to have the banner, but I looked it up because I couldn't remember. I know postpartum depression, but I wasn't familiar. I mean, I knew something of postpartum psychosis, which it sounds like she also had because she was hallucinating. How
Mhm.
do you feel that the book handled these issues? Because they come up quite a bit. Like you were saying, Dominic's doing everything he can. He definitely has compassion for her. But I made sure to mention these in my trigger warnings because you just wouldn't necessarily anticipate postpartum depression and psychosis.
Yeah. I just don't think it was like delved into, but it kind of makes sense for the time period because
Mhm,
they wouldn't
mhm.
know what they were dealing with in
Yeah,
that time period.
yeah.
But they know that she was different. And it's interesting that the brother blames him, which
Right.
obviously plays a big role into what happens in the book.
Mhm, mhm, absolutely. Um, it bothered me that you didn't know what that ghostly feeling was from. And Paige says the house was a sad or tragic past, so I think she was just feeling the vibe of the past.
Yeah.
Mhm, mhm. They never talk about it after, true. Yeah. Rachel says, "You mean to tell me I'm spending my Sunday digging holes to plant trees when I could have been watching Bee and Tara stream?"
We're
Rachel, you're so funny.
glad you're here.
I know, yes, welcome, welcome. Um, Also, I have to come back to this comment if we're but it was Lucifer's love truncheon as a curse. If anyone would have a truncheon and later I think it was supposed to be an in joke. Okay, well, that's a good point, Sock. Okay. So, yeah, just some tricky. The thing that I had an issue with this book is just the different plot points and not delving deeply enough. Like
Yeah.
what I was just saying about the haunting. It could have been a little bit longer for me.
Yeah. Same
Um,
with just like maybe a little bit from her backstory,
mhm,
little
mhm.
something more.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's get into some other ones too. Again, I don't want to hate on this because we have a lot of people that really loved it, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they have to say. Um, Artemis wants to start a women's college. Can you name any other historical romance books or series with schools for girls off the top of your head?
Terry probably can.
I know she can.
Terry
I
100%.
know. I really liked this aspect of the story, and
Me
anybody that wants to
too.
talk more about that can. Just the feminism, this the way that that's kind of interwoven with through the story. One that jumps to mind is Anna Bennett's book series that's set at the seaside, and of course now I can't remember the name of it, but I do enjoy finishing schools and books set at schools, and I really liked that aspect of the story.
I do too.
Finishing schools are good. Finishing schools will work. I can't name any historical romance series, but it's a common thing of a lot of 80s and 90s fantasy. Interesting.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you do get like schools in fantasy. I
Mhm.
think I read a
Mhm.
witch one time that had a school, like a boarding school. Obviously Harry Potter,
Oh,
but another one.
yeah. It's been too long, but I think there was a 1990s Amanda Quick like that. I definitely would like to create a rec list of books that include schools. I think that would be really fun. And what did we think about Artemis wanting to start her own college, by the
I
way?
love
And
that.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
I love how we started the story with her in a school, and it's not going so well. Thought that was
She's
great.
too forward thinking for the time. Girls can't learn science.
Exactly. Exactly. Let's see here. I know I read one recently that was part of a whole series. We just spoke with Maggie Sims on my morning show who does more, I think it's probably erotica more so, and she has a school that's like a spicy school. Um, yes,
I
yes. So
love
that was one that was just discussed. Very
seduction.
different. Very different. Yes. Terry says the Simply Quartet series by Mary Balog is set at a finishing school. Oh,
Mm,
how fun. I
okay.
love that. Let's see here. Artemis is a secret author. When do you believe it would have been a good time to tell Dominic about this?
Hmm.
Because as I remember, it's kind of very late in the story that Dominic finds out that Artemis is none other than, and I forgot her name again. Oh my gosh, what is her pen name? You
It's
guys,
something. Is it Loveless? Lovelace?
Lydia Lovelace. Thank you, Lovelace. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't
that
know
was
because
a
I think
long time.
it's supposed to build. It gives them a reason to be split apart.
Mhm, mhm. So
Um,
plot device, absolutely.
yeah.
Um, oh, and hear about the school. I like that she had a clear goal and actually thought about how to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yes.
She was stocking away money and like she's like, I'm not gonna get married because then I wouldn't be able to open it up.
Right, right. I love that Alicia says, I love that part of Artemis's character, her forward-thinking self.
Yeah.
Mhm. Didn't Christina Dodd's Governess Brides involve a school? Ooh, we'll have to look into that. Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Lydia Lovelace or Lovelace. Um, yes. So I personally, I wondered if she was ever going to tell him as we got further and further into the story.
Yeah.
Because it took a very long time. I didn't mind it arriving so late, says Phantom Writer, because it was the one thing she had to trust him completely to tell him. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a really
Because
good
she didn't
point.
really trust like the people in her life. She had kind of
Mhm.
her aunt, wasn't that great. It, she kind of made up for it in the end, but so like to trust him completely with that information that really could destroy her. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
In that time
Mhm.
period, if people found out, she would be destroyed, and she's got nothing, no leg up for anything.
Yeah.
So it kind
Yeah.
of makes sense she waited.
Yeah. Well said. She should have trusted him with that.
Mhm.
Yeah. Crystal says there were too many other plot conflicts. It became sort of a moot point and something that as she got to know Dominic, she would realize who he is and that it wouldn't matter to him. I could understand, Alicia says, it being kept close to her chest. It was a big secret and it could have been bad if others knew that part of her.
Yeah.
Like you
Especially since he was like, I don't want my daughter reading that. And I don't know, maybe he did tell her. He never really told her that he looked through it, and he was like, it's fine for, my fiance to read it because of her age, but not my 15-year-old,
Mhm,
and so like
mhm.
she knew that, and so she was like, oh no, like, is he gonna want me to be around his daughter? Am
Right.
I a bad influence because of this?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I love the conversation that she has with Celeste at a certain point to say, you've read these, but this really doesn't mean that you have a sense of what the real world is like. And I'm really thankful they were able to have that conversation because Celeste, having read these, believed that she was far more worldly than she actually was, which is one of the most dangerous things.
Yep.
Thinking that you know things that you know nothing about.
Yep.
Yikes. So,
Like 15-year-olds do.
this is true. Or in my case, also 5-year-olds.
Yeah.
Dominic did say that being injured changed his perspective, though, so he might not have been receptive before that.
That's true.
Interesting point. Abby Jean has a quote coming at us. Once upon a time, he would have been unhappy with Artemis for keeping such a secret from him, but now he was just ashamed she hadn't felt he was on her side.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's true.
That's good. That's a good one. That she couldn't see that he cared about her enough or couldn't confide in him. It wouldn't be long before he remedied that situation.
Mhm.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Paige says, I like that Dominic really shifted his perspective on things after being shot and was more open to listening to Celeste and having an open mind about Lydia Lovelace. It happened when it was meant to. There we go again, talking about the injury that was critical to him changing his perspective.
Yeah.
I grabbed this quote. I loved how he responded to finding out her secret, and I loved that he read one of her books.
Yeah.
The fact that he read one, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Many real-life authors are mentioned in this novel, including Mary Wollstonecraft and her book, A Vindication of the Rights of Women. Has anyone read that? What are their feelings on Mary Wollstonecraft? Did it impact your enjoyment, or does anyone know the history there? Do you know anything about Mary Wollstonecraft, Tara?
Only that I think she's the mother of Mary Shelley, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did like just a smidge of digging that I wish I could have had more time because honestly, I'm really curious about Mary Wollstonecraft, but
Yeah.
she passed away at age 38. She was only 38 years old, and yet she did so much.
Right.
And she also passed only 11 days after giving birth to Mary Shelley, which I also did
I
not know.
didn't realize that.
Right? And
Wow.
she and her husband, Mary Wollstonecraft's husband, were both kind of radical thinkers at the time. And of course, we know that Mary Shelley went on to
Yeah.
be similar and to surround herself with similar, like-minded people. Just
Mhm.
fascinating. I think I need to do a deep dive into this kind of lineage, like the family and
Yeah.
the
It's
friends.
very interesting.
Yes. I mean, I think I read parts of A Vindication of the Rights of Women probably in college, but now I'm really curious. So I
Yeah.
don't know if anybody has any background, or I would love to know. Phantom Writer says, yes, this is about Dominic. Yes, before being hurt, I don't think he would actually have tried her book. There you go. There you go. I haven't read that one, but if you're interested, Scarlett Peckham's The Rakess was inspired by Mary Wollstonecraft.
Yeah. I
Get out.
liked the Rapist. I think I gave it a 4. A
Did
lot of
you?
people loved it. I did.
Yes.
I did not. I was not a 5-star, but it was definitely good.
Well, I've heard great things about Scarlett Peckham. I have not read her yet. I need to put this on the top of my TBR.
The
That's
Rapist was good.
mhm. No, but I understand it was a very important book at the time and very transgressive for women.
Yeah.
She and her husband were controversial. I just want to learn more now. I just want to do a deep dive. Mary Shelley had an interesting life with Percy Shelley. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And yeah, her book would have been considered scandalous even decades later. Absolutely. And I love that they paid an homage to her in the text. That was great.
A lot of Jane Austen too.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting. I love seeing that. And again, we've been talking about the Jane Austen read along in 2026 and we're getting excited. It's going to be so fun. I can't wait.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be great. Celeste's governess, Miss Sharp, is she a villain or a hero? Kind of a complex character. I'd love to know your thoughts.
I think she's a product of her time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, she's just sort of towing the line, what she's been taught. She's just trying to pass that along, what girls should learn, what they shouldn't learn, what's important.
Yeah.
You know, I love Terry goes, villain.
Yeah. I mean, it's so hard to like, you can really like, because is she a true villain? I don't know.
Yeah.
She's like that gray. She definitely did some annoying things and she deserved to be fired and, you know, let go because she obviously lost the trust of her employer and then her charge. And, you know, but like, she is like that is the time period. So of course she reacted that way.
Right. And
They can't all be like the heroines.
This book is full of heroines. No, but does she, or am I misremembering this, that she sort of blackmails Artemis at one point?
At the very end, yeah.
Okay. Because at that point I was like, okay, now I don't know. I mean, up until, you know, the end, I was like, well, yeah, she's just kind of like what you were saying, product of her time.
And it's only because the novels that she found out she was the author. Because before that, they had been kind of on good terms because she had helped determine who T was.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, I am wrong. Well, at first she didn't like her too, because she came in and she's like, is she overstepping my boundaries with like talking to his daughter? And so it was kind of like they didn't like each other. And then, well, not that they didn't like her, but what is her? Miss Sharp didn't like, what is the main character's name now?
Artemis.
Oh, I'm so bad with main character names.
No,
and then they liked each other, or they kind of came on the same team. Yes. And then she found that out, and she's like, "No, you know." So, I don't know.
Yeah. Terry says, I was outraged when she shooed Artemis from Dominic's bedside. But she had this element of vindictiveness that went just beyond, oh, I am worried here. That's a good point, too.
That's true. I think she had a crush on him.
That's what Crystal just said. She had feelings for Dominic, so she was petty, but also sadly a product of her time.
Yeah.
Yes, Tara, says Paige. She absolutely is a product of her time, using any opportunity she can to her advantage.
Yeah.
Villain in the book, but she felt like someone you could actually meet in that era.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You can be whatever you want if you try hard enough and have a big sword. There you go.
Or a truncheon.
Give you a standing ovation there, Tara.
Thank you.
Oh man, Terry says, I don't know, but as Artemis is Dom's fiance, I thought that Artemis was outranking her in a way. It was not her place to shoo Artemis. You know, and that may be part of the reason why Miss Sharp didn't like her, because now Artemis outranks her. You know?
And they were like, she didn't really feel like Miss Sharp did not think Artemis and her were on the same playing field when they first met, because he wasn't her fiance then. And she's like, why are you coming in here and telling me just because you worked at a finishing school? I've worked this and this and this for these high up people.
That's right.
So like she had that like mentality as well. It's like, I'm better than you. But then she comes back as the fiance and she's like, oh, wait a minute. You know, she's all mad.
Yeah, that's a good point. I had forgotten that. Yeah. Yep. Phantom Rider says, I think her blackmailing Artemis is the only thing really unforgivable. Yeah. The rest was more her doing her job or protecting her job.
Yeah.
Miss Sharp only liked her, though, because Artemis threw the credit for discovering T's identity to Miss Sharp.
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten that, too.
But I feel like that was strategic for her because she could feel it. Artemis could feel like, hey, she feels like I'm stepping on her toes, but that's not what I'm here to do.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of T, the secret identity, here's yet another plot point in this book. We have little notes, little
Antonio.
love notes. Antonio,
Yeah.
little piano player extraordinaire. Now I may be mixing up my historical romances, but I could have sworn that Celeste was lonely. Is that right? Or did she have a bunch of friends and she was always out on the town?
No, Celeste was lonely.
Okay, because when
of his the rumors that affected him. Because
of course, yes.
Not the Mad Duke, but what is it? They'll tell me in the comments.
It's in here. I even have it in my banners. The Dastardly Duke.
Dastardly Duke.
The Dastardly Duke, because it's so funny. I didn't know who T was, clearly, but I feel like the moment Artemis came in the house, she's like, and it's him. Like she realizes it right away, even though he's Antonio, because he's Tonio or Tony or whatever.
Yeah.
They do say though that she's kind of making eyes at a lot of the staff, correct?
Yeah.
Like he was kind of concerned about that, because part of me just wondered, how are they not seeing that this is him, that this is the man? But maybe if they had plenty of other members on staff, and I guess the fact that his name didn't technically start with a T.
Yeah.
I think my question is, was that too easy figuring that out?
Yeah. I did think it was pretty quick to figure that out. Yeah, because she didn't really go deeper. They were just kind of gone.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes sense that maybe the dad or, he wouldn't know because he's just looking at the dance teacher, not the pianist who is like, I don't know. Is he there? It also mentions that maybe he's not there every time.
That's a good question. I remember thinking specifically, it's the dance instructor, because that's the only other
I thought it was the dance instructor too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't think about the piano player. I actually really liked that scene when she's like, Miss Sharp, would you play piano? I'm going to dance with this young man.
And she was mad. She was a fuming 15-year-old, like, excuse me?
It's my man. I loved that scene.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah.
I love that scene.
Loved it.
But B, you have probably read more cozy mystery than Amy Rose Bennett. Yes, I probably have. I really am. To me, that indicated how little attention they were paying to Celeste as an individual. Ooh, that's good.
That's true.
So true. Yes. 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 There are a couple comments I want to get to really quickly because I don't want to miss. There's always like one other thing that pops down, and I just don't want to leave anything out. Crystal said, that frustrated me with Artemis. Why did she bow down to Miss Sharp? The blackmail reason felt kind of lame, to be honest. There were more costs to Miss Sharp than pros for spilling the beans on Artemis.
I feel like it's because Artemis wasn't sure that she was still going to marry him. She still hadn't come to that realization, so she had no protections. And so, like, if this came out, it would ruin her, it would ruin her sister, and her sister's already dealing with the gossip from the other guy, the jerk. I can't remember his name, but he was not nice, and he was disgusting.
Yeah.
There's a villain.
Oh, we're going to be talking about him.
So I feel like it was... she hadn't let him in fully, but I guess also he was always going to give her the money, but she didn't want people to know if it was going to like ruin girls getting to come to her school, because parents wouldn't send them there if they knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Sock said earlier too that she thought it was a little weird that Wollstonecraft was just sort of thrown in the mix with a bunch of novels. Like Jane Austen. And then Crystal also pointed out Jane Eyre.
Yeah, Jane Eyre's in there.
Yeah. Sorry to jump around, but I just want to make sure I get to all these comments. This is just wonderful. Crystal also makes a really good point about Miss Sharp. The fact that Miss Sharp was unable to see who T was proves how incompetent she was as a governess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked that it wasn't dragged out too long. Artemis spying on Celeste for too long would have been bad, and Celeste would have been too deeply betrayed. Oh, that's deep,
That's true.
right?
Yeah, I can see that
Yes.
because they wanted to build their relationship. He wanted her. They wanted. He wanted them to like each other
Yeah.
and to kind of, take her under his wing or under.
That, and that brings up another question. What did he want her to do? Because remember, he even said, he goes, I want you to find out who T is. And then she's like, okay, I found out. And he's like, okay, cool. Now I want you to do something else. And I was like, wait, what?
I think he just wanted to keep her around because technically that was the deal.
Right.
And she's like, "Oh, I found it," and so he was scared she was gonna leave, and he's like, "No, no, no! I want you to stay."
Yeah. Wow, I didn't know you'd do it that fast. I didn't know it would take only 3 pages or whatever. But I was just like, wow, this is changing quickly. Sock says, at first I thought maybe T was a girl. Oh, now that would have been interesting.
Oh, okay.
But Celeste knew even fewer girls. Wouldn't that have been interesting? What
I
a
need that girl
twist.
to find some friends.
Yes. That popped into my head too, Sock. Mm-hmm. T for twist. Plot twist. Right. That
was
would have
the
been
one.
so crazy. I would have loved that. Let's see. How critical was the plot point about Artemis's father? And what purpose did it serve in the story? That was another thing that was like, guess what? The man who was your father was not your father. It was this other guy.
Yeah, I guess it kind of shows just like how different she was from the, who she grew up with. She took after her mom. And just kind of the necessity of that time. Like her mom had to go into this marriage that she clearly didn't want, but like there wasn't the one that she was supposed to marry passed away, and that doesn't matter anymore. He can no longer marry you, so you have no rights. So you got to find something.
Mm-hmm.
And at least I kind of think it was kind of a bit maybe gross though, in the sense of like he had like watched her and he like had a crush on her, and then he was like, "Oh, let me swoop in and save her now." I was like, that's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's not good. That's
but real for the time.
Yeah, truly. Abby Jean just came up with some gold. I think it showed why the aunt acted the way she did, pushing them to marry well.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
That would be, I love
agree,
that.
Abby.
I did not connect those dots. I was thinking along the terms of what Crystal is saying. Throwaway thing, frustrating pet peeve with me when authors do that. Because I was like, wait, why was that important? Like, I was not sure. But what Abby Jean says makes sense.
And it kind of makes sense why the girls too weren't as close. I wonder, is because that was his. Do you know what I mean? He could have put the divide in them because they didn't seem as close because she was easy to mistrust her sister. And not only was the aunt pitting them against each other too, because the other one couldn't marry until Artemis married.
Right.
And so like there was already that division there. I wonder if it started when they were girls.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Let's see. Oh, whoopsie. Okay. Is it okay? We already talked about that. I just want to make sure I don't skip anything. Were the Dastardly Duke and I forgot to put the name in, Lydia Lovelace, especially equipped to understand one another? The fact that they were, the Dastardly Duke and Lydia Lovelace.
I mean,
just because the reason I asked that question, I guess this is a leading question ultimately, but for me, I feel like they're sort of on the fringes of society. Both.
That's what I was thinking. What you were thinking about, yeah.
She's like, what is B trying to get at with this question?
I thought you meant fringes, yeah, because they would both be outcasts.
Yeah, outcasts, not accepted by society, on the fringe. Yeah, and I just think that they might have been just better equipped to connect.
Yeah, I think it's part of the reason why they do.
Would you say that this is an insta lust or an insta love type situation for him? I feel like he fell pretty quickly and pretty easily, and I want to know in the comments too, guys. What do you think about that? Because I don't know. I feel like he just sort of liked her immediately, whereas she needed some more time.
Yeah, I think he was maybe a bit more open. he like
Mhm.
when he bumped into her, like maybe he was like, okay, like she's pretty. I kind of like how she's, talking to me in the sense of like she's not putting on a front, you know.
Yeah.
So he kind of liked that, like it's a breath of fresh air for him. But I also
Mm.
think that maybe he was ready to, he was lonely, and
Mhm.
he was like, here's this person who I haven't been attracted to anybody since my wife, and then she comes and she's this breath of fresh air,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I definitely think that maybe he was more open, and she was like, no, I'm never getting married.
Right. Right. I love what Sock says. I also that Artemis is a writer might make her have better emotional imagination to understand what he might have been going through.
Hmm.
Truly. And Julie just joined us. Hello, a bit late, but got here in the process of cooking dinner, chicken thighs and slow cooker. Yum.
Oh, that
Baked
sounds
potatoes
good.
and pasta. We'll all be right over, Julie. Sounds delish.
Headed your way.
Yes, we can't wait. Phantom Writer says, I think because he had already been in love, he was more open to the feeling. Oh, well,
Yeah,
she was burnt by love, so she had closed herself to this possible future.
that's
I just love all these insights. I just love this.
yeah.
Oh, so great.
I didn't even think about that. Of course, she was burnt by love. Because
Hmm.
that guy was a total villain.
Total truncheon.
Yeah, and
Yeah, you did it better than
was
I did.
the devil's truncheon or
There
whatever.
you go. That's it. That's it. Christina says she's a strong, independent woman.
She
Yes.
is, yeah.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
And like
Well,
gonna let nothing stop her. Like she was like, I'm gonna work in the school, and then I'm going to be an author, and then I'm gonna open up this school. And she's like, and I'm not gonna let anybody stop me, not even my aunt.
yeah, that's right. Yes. Get my aunt out of my hair. Come help me, Dominic.
Yep. I love that they like that scene where they're like setting up her ruination, and then
Yeah.
she like gets mad because he doesn't ruin her. He's like, I'm gonna save you, let's get married. And she's like mad and walks away.
Yeah. I was so shocked when he did that.
Yeah,
I was so surprised. Paige says, I think they were. He was shunned from society, and she wasn't a typical society lady. She
that's
actually
true.
thought for herself, and he was more open minded to her ideas. They just got each other.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Not just burned by love, but also by being told her status would be a bar- would
Hello.
her barrier to love. Very nice sock. She also didn't think she was good enough for him.
Yeah,
Very good point.
yeah.
Very good point. So, how would you describe Dominic's feelings while he decides to propose to Artemis after being discovered? I know
I
we just
think
started talking about it and you were surprised. I was surprised.
I was definitely surprised. I think he was doing it to protect her. He was looking at it from a very different vantage point than she was. And so he was like, no, this isn't going to work out how she thinks it's going to work out. And she's going to be ruined, and I'm going to be okay. So like I don't want to leave her with nothing. With like her aunt
Mhm.
being mad at her, like potentially walking away from her completely, and then her having nothing to fall on. And like, because she holds the purse strings.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think he was looking at her like, I need to help her. I need to save her. And he
Yeah.
was like, what better way? Because I kind of am attracted to her and I like her. So,
Yep. That's why I say, like, it seemed like he just liked her, like, just right away. That was like one of the things in the story that wasn't even a question. He's just like, yeah, you're great.
yeah.
You're great. I loved the proposal. He chickened out of the fake scandal.
He's like, oh, no, we're doing it.
Yep. And Sock goes, I've got her where I want her.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And Terry agrees with you, by the
Yeah.
way. I think he was already thinking about it before, which is why he actually let things go so far between them.
Because yeah, they definitely there were spiciness in that room.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
She was definitely rumpled.
I now have to put that in a review or bring that up. She was rumpled. So you know it was good. Was there rumpling in the book?
Did she have to straighten out her skirts and her hair?
That's going to be my new favorite word, rumple. Right there. We got to put that when we talk about books from now on. Now she has to spend time with me. I love that. I just bought, Julie just bought an emotional read. I hope you enjoy it. Mary says, I wasn't surprised when he proposed. I think he saw a way to get what he wanted.
And he definitely wanted her. I think
Mhm.
he fell first.
Yes, he did.
Sure. He was already pretty enamored with her.
I agree. The fake scandal scene was so playful too. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I did. He definitely wanted to offer her his protection, and he just wanted to be able to spend more time with her. And there you go. That's going to do it. A fake engagement. Totally agree with that, Phantom Writer. Oh, we are enjoying you in the chat. And you know what? There's quite a few people here that have not read the book, and they're just hanging out with us, and we're enjoying it. So, and we love hearing about your dinner too. So, Julie, just hang out with us. We love it. We love it. Rumplemints shots for 2. You're so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay. We haven't talked about it yet. We got to do it. Evolution of a villain. Let's talk about.
I hate that guy.
Mr.
I don't even remember his name, and I don't like him.
That's why I called him Mr. Man, because I don't remember his name, and
He doesn't need a name.
because I'm preparing like a ton of lives at the same time, and that's why the other day I was like, "What was the name of Lydia Lovelace?" And then I was like, "I will make a note to update that." And then of course I didn't do that for the villain either. What is his name? You guys know.
They'll let us know, but I didn't like him. I think he was vindictive, and I think he wanted her. He wanted Artemis, and he was like trying to, because otherwise, why would he go after her sister?
I know. What was that? We need to talk about that. We need to talk about that because, Phoebe, the sister, he's going after Phoebe. And I feel like, did Phoebe just have well, she didn't know that he ruined Artemis.
No, she didn't even tell her friends. The only person that maybe knew is Dom.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because of the interaction when he's like grabbing her arm and he's like, you need to let go of her. She said to get off her.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And but I couldn't believe, this is one thing that did bug me about the book. The fact that the aunt and her sister didn't believe Artemis.
That really annoyed me.
I was like, come on, guys, give Artemis the benefit of the doubt.
But I kind of like that Artemis was like, well, you're not going to believe me. I'm out.
Well, yeah.
But I think that goes into the fact of the division that was in that household too. You could tell that they were not all on the same page. And then the aunt did not do well by pitting them against each other, because you can't marry until she marries, isn't fair. Because that's all Phoebe wanted.
Gascoigne.
Yeah.
Gascoigne. That's even a bad word. I kept picturing Gaston.
Yeah. Truly.
Gascoigne. Thank you, Paige. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, too funny. Gaston. Now I'm picturing Gaston. That's great. I don't remember, but he has a French first name. Terry would know that. Oh, hey, Wyoming. I didn't read the book either, but I'm enjoying the discussion.
I'm glad you're here.
Okay, I cannot speak today. Tell Silly hello, by the way. Silly is her little puppy. We just love him or her. We love her. The logic was not there with that one. He didn't make any sense.
Yeah. But I think when she was off on the road and she's like, I thought I saw Phoebe. I was like, oh, she's with Gascoigne. I don't know why, but I was like, that's what it is because like, why would it be secret? And then like from her, and also like, one, I don't understand his intentions of doing it. I kind of understand Phoebe's because she just wants to be loved and she thinks that he's sincere. And then I think he was feeding both the aunt and Phoebe like, oh yeah, I love her. I'm gonna, whatever. I have the best of intentions when clearly he didn't. And then because the relation between the sister, he's like, I think that's why he was saying, of course don't believe anything she says because, of course, they're not going to like me because I'm the one who put out that he was the dastardly duke and killed my sister.
Mm-hmm.
So
That really did get murky, didn't it? Because Juliet is his sister, and now he's it was like this whole square.
It was definitely a square. I was like, ew to him. Ew.
Yeah, goodness. Oh, golly. He obviously was a smooth operator. If he had Artemis fooled 10 years ago, the aunt, Phoebe, I mean, he was
I thought maybe he killed his wife.
You thought Gascoigne killed Juliet?
Not Juliet, but his wife.
Oh, his wife.
The heiress. Because, she randomly dies and you're back in town. I think he was more evil.
Well, yeah. I mean, oh my. That's interesting. Phantom Writer says he was a bland villain. He didn't feel like a real person. Oh, we should guess on. The sister and the aunt didn't believe her, which was so out of left field. I think Crystal and I were on the same page in terms of we didn't get the memo about the animosity between the sisters. That just went right over my head. Yeah. And I think knowing that makes it a little bit more believable, I think. But when I was reading it, I did not get that, just like Crystal is saying.
We didn't know it as readers at the time.
Oh.
We didn't get it till the end. I think if we'd known it as readers sooner, that they weren't full sisters, because that dad could have easily pit them apart, because that's one my kid, and then this is a by blow,
Right.
So that very well could have played into them as children, and then the aunt playing more into that. And then we don't know that as readers, so it does feel very out of left field in that instance until you learn what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Phantom Writer says their family didn't have a close relationship, and Gascoigne turned them against Artemis. Yeah, he used that to his benefit for sure.
Yeah.
Perfect image to have for this villain. No, what is that? Well, I don't know the words. Like, no one schemes like Gaston.
Yes, that's true.
We could just do it with Gascoigne instead. We just put his name in there.
He definitely is a schemer.
But he had a title and money, and Artemis was a prophet without honor in her own country. Her family doesn't trust her at all. Wow. Prophet without honor. That is a great phrase. The villain sounds eye-rollingly boring. I thought he killed them both.
Oh, see, I definitely thought he killed them both.
Why not?
I think what killed her is potentially the psychosis. She was going after the son that died, and unfortunately, whether that's drowned or the elements took her or whatever it was, I think that's what ultimately killed her.
Yeah.
Juliet.
Yeah. Mary says, I felt like he was still digging at Dom, knowing how Dom felt about his sister. That's true. That's so true. The things that he was saying about Juliet, and I think Dom probably didn't know about the psychosis or the postpartum depression. I wonder, okay, here's a question. Do you think Gascoigne truly believed that Dominic killed his sister?
I don't know.
I'm curious. I don't know.
I think we're supposed to believe that.
I just wonder if that impacted Gascoigne's motives at all.
Yeah.
If it impacted him in terms of, I don't know, what a villain he was. If he believed that he wouldn't be revenge because he was being awful to Artemis and Phoebe.
Yeah.
But
I think he was already not a kind person, because obviously what he did to Artemis was prior to anything happening with Juliet. So he was already not, a kind person or a good hero of any sort. He clearly used his money and his station to woo Artemis, and then ultimately be like, nah, I'm going to go with the heiress because she's got more money, more of a dowry, So his motivations were always not good motivations. But I also think he felt like he did kill his sister,
Mhm.
Especially if he's saying like, "Oh, she was so different before," and then them not knowing, he's like, what did he do to my
What
sister?"
did he do? Yeah,
I don't know.
that's a good point. Her sister wanted to have a season and couldn't have it because Artemis was not interested
Yeah, I
in
didn't like that. It
Yeah.
wasn't a 5-star. Well, there are other reasons, but that
But
was
for that
bad.
reason specifically,
Don't pit
um,
people against each other.
right. Didn't we read something recently? I could have sworn, help me, somebody knows what I'm talking about right now. It was a similar plot to the sister because we kept comparing it to 10 Things I Hate About You.
Mm,
Oh, that's going to drive me crazy. It was a historical romance version of 10 Things I Hate About You. Oh, that's going to drive me
mm.
nuts. But it was done, personally, I think a little bit better than this one was. But it was like she has to get married first. Oh, that's going to drive me nuts. If anybody knows, please tell me in the chat. Crystal says, this is why I'm always suspicious of people when I first meet them. Only talk negatively about people. I don't know why people assume it makes them trustworthy. Sir, I don't know you. It's giving Mr. Wickham.
Right?
Oh gosh. I can believe that they wouldn't believe once he had manipulated them.
Mhm.
Right? He's a good manipulator.
He is a good
You
he's
can't
like
underestimate how deeply people can be manipulated. Victims are often ostracized. Mm,
and
mm,
I think he saw all of them as like so they're all women. They don't have a male in the household. Obviously, the aunt's husband has passed away, so they look like easy targets. And they're not
right.
well off. They're not titled.
Yeah.
The
Perfect.
title comes from marriage on her side, on the aunt side, the money and the
Mhm.
title.
Mm,
So it's not like you know what I mean? He sees them as easy to manipulate, easy to get whatever he wants out of them.
yeah. Wow. Yeah, truly. Who would have gotten Dom's money if he'd been executed for his wife's death? Could Gascoigne have been angling to control Celeste's inheritance?
Ooh. He is money motivated. I like that, Sock. You're onto something.
Crazy. Yes. Gascoigne, the mastermind behind it all,
Yeah.
right? Later, we find out that Antonio was working with Gascoigne. That didn't happen. But wouldn't that have been amazing?
Now that would have been a plot point. A twist, I should
One of
say.
many. We're going to write another book.
Hey, I'm
I
going to
do
mute
believe.
just for a second.
Oh, yeah. Mary says, I do believe he was probably projecting as he killed his own wife. Oh, that's a good point. If I've done it, so can someone else. Good point, Mary. Abby Jean says, plus, I think the aunt said she low key believed her, but thought that he couldn't do that to Phoebe because Phoebe was a good girl, AKA Artemis was asking for it. Oh no, Abby Jean.
The aunt did even say something like that.
Ooh, that burns me up.
Mhm.
Abby Jean. Good. Yeah, but that's true. Oh, good point. Good point. Phantom Writer says, I think Phoebe was scared of never being able to marry because her sister didn't want to. She probably resented her, so she wasn't capable of thinking rationally. Another great point.
Mhm.
Terry says, in that time, if the oldest wasn't married, she would have more chance to stay on the shelf and to be charge of her family. That was the reason why you were marrying the oldest one first. Everyone thought highly of Gascoigne. He was a master manipulator. Otherwise, he couldn't have poisoned the whole ton against Dominic.
That's true.
Yeah. So he's the one that coined that phrase then, the dastardly Duke?
Yeah, he's the one that basically was like the dastardly Duke, but not only that, the rumors of him killing his wife, even though the coroner ruled it out as an accident.
Something like it takes two to polka. I
It
like that.
does.
Rachel goes, the tea here, McDonald's level hot. That's great.
Prior to the warning.
That's right. Be careful. It's hot. It's hot. That's right. Ooh, man, there's so many things to consider with this villain, with
Yeah.
Gascoigne. It's fascinating.
He
There was
got his
something.
comeuppance.
Yes. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
I like that Dom was like, we're going to duel. And he's like, he was too unscrupulous. He's like, I'm going to shoot you right here.
That
You know
was
what I mean? Like in Dom's mind is like, nothing's going to happen to me. And in Gascoigne, he's like, yeah, you're dying right now.
right.
Yeah.
That was so
crazy.
crazy. That was so crazy. Pepper level would be Carolina Reaper. That's great. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Are there other books we've loved featuring heroines who are authors, secret or not, that you can think of?
So I have a male author that I liked that was by a Stacy Reed. And he
Oh,
is a male author. And then at the very end, he kind of like writes her this, like his dedication is a love letter to her.
oh, oh.
That's the only one that I can think of where like she is an author, or that
I know.
there's an author, but like there are probably more out there.
I know that between the one we've already discussed, then this kind of trope or theme, as well as governesses. That's another one where it's like, oh, now I want to read, I want to look
Yeah.
into governess ones because I do love those as well. True Love by Millie Criswell.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
I'll try that one.
Love that. I read some, but I cannot remember the titles. I know, right? It's just I sort of spring this on you, just thinking about other fun books. We could do Rex all day, couldn't we? If we have a moment to think about them. I will wreck that book, but until I am blue in the face. Oh, I love that. Everybody remember True Love by Millie Criswell. Recommended by Crystal. Serafina in the Raycast is a nonfiction writer, political essays and the like. Oh my gosh.
Is. You're right. Yep.
There you go. And you know what? As I'm thinking of it, of course, my books are downstairs. Susanna Craig has done a series where there are women writers, they're newspaper writers. And it's a women's newspaper. And those are really fun. Temptations of a Wallflower by Eva Lee. Ooh, how fun. I love that. I almost just said Pandora in Devil in Spring, but she's making board games. She's not writing. She's not right. I love it when women have their own agency, when they're doing their own thing and breaking
Diana
boundaries.
Quincy does a good job of that. Having like
Yes.
their own, they each have their own like job too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. In fact, isn't one of the Diana Quincy's, she's a travel writer, right?
Yeah.
Isn't she?
She might be. I don't know which one. I've only read The Marquess Makes His Move and then The Duke Gets Desperate, but The Marquess Makes His Move, she's like a map maker.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Terry was telling me she's got some fun recs with cartographers, map makers. That I was like, oh, I want to get into that. That sounds so fun. The novella by Tessa Dare and the Spindle Cove series. I can't speak today. I'm so sorry, guys. The Spindle Cove series. Lord Dashwood Missed Out. Yes, that's a great one. That's a great one. Just read Pamela Morsi, where she was a newspaper writer in 1916 Oklahoma. How fun. Dear Lady True Love series by Laura Lee Gerke. Oh, I need to read more Laura Lee Gerke. Love her. Suddenly You by Lisa Kleypas. Oh, fun. When the Scott Ties a Knot. She writes about insects. Yes. In fact, there's a Christina Britton where she writes about insects. That's so fun. Oh my gosh, so fun.
I haven't read any Christina Britton yet.
Guess what?
What?
She's going to be on my morning show.
That's exciting.
She just agreed. She's so excited. She's going to be coming on in May. And I think that was the only slot I had to fill of the morning shows left. So she's going to be on. She has a new book coming out this summer. And I just can't wait to have her. I love Christina Britton.
I need to read from her because I know you enjoy her.
Yeah. Oh, I do. I really do.
I have What's a Duke Got to Do with It, I think.
Oh, I love that one.
That's the one I have on my shelf.
So much. Yes. She's writing a love column in a newspaper. I love that. I love that. I hope you guys don't mind me asking about other books that have some of the similar themes. I know it's not quite on topic with the book, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, that's always fun.
Yeah. Oh, good. So talking about, oh, for Pete's sake, I never included it. Let me grab, I made some slides that I didn't grab that just have the other books in the Byronic Book Club series. Well, goodness gracious, I guess, where is it? This is what happens when you're preparing like 4 lives at the same time. I'm so sorry, guys. Has anyone read the other books in the Byronic Book Club, or are you hoping to do so? I can at least project those. The Earl's Lady Geologist by Alyssa Baxter writes geology for the Royal Society of Geology. How fun.
Oh.
I want to read more of those things. I really do. I love the idea of STEM, and history and things like that. I just find it so fun.
Yeah, there's a Scarlet Peckham one that kind of has, I don't know if she does butterflies, like she has a butterfly exhibit, or she like tracks them. She's, it's like science or something.
Oh,
It's like a
neat.
STEM one, but what is it
Yeah.
called? That's the one I want to read. Oh my
Mm,
goodness, I'll have to look it up. I
mhm.
love the cover too,
Yeah.
but you don't see that a lot in historicals either, like STEM
Yeah,
clubs or
that's
things like
true.
that.
That's true. Not
The
yet. I
Duke
have
I
them.
Tempted.
What now?
The Duke I Tempted. That one's more like
Oh,
STEM though, not writing.
okay. Well, yeah, I'm
Just
excited
FYI.
about that. I have them though, all 3 in mint condition for $1 from a library sale. All 3 of the Byronic Book Club. Awesome sock. I think I have
Oh,
the other 2 books on my physical shelves of the Byronic Book Club. Oh, neat, Terry. I'm hoping to get to the other books in the series for sure. I thought Amy's writing was fun. Oh, good. Oh, I'm so glad. The completionist in me will finish the other 2 books in the series, hopefully at some point this year. I love that. And book 2 is
I may or may not finish it in 2 to 4 business years.
2 to 4 business years. I love it.
We all know how good I am with series.
2 to 4 business years. That's great. So this is book 2, Curled Up with an Earl, which features Miss Lucy Bertram. Is Lucy the name of her friend? Because
Yes.
that's another plot point where she's supposed to be having this season. So Artemis says, "Okay, I'll go with you, and then I can also help Phoebe." But then
And
I'm
then they
like,
get in a fight. The brother and the dad get in a fight, and the brother like leaves, and she's like, "I gotta go now."
right, and we never understand what is going on with Lucy. That's like
Mm-mm.
just sort of left as, I guess because we want to find out what happens in the next book. Dive in or drop out. Oh boy, we're going to see if she dives in or drops out of this series. I love
Mm.
it. The Viscount's lady novelist is the sister of the geologist. She's the only one in the family who's not involved in STEM. And she's a
Mm.
writer. Oh, how fun, Terry. Is the series actually about a book club? Is it?
Kind of.
I think there is a
They
point where she's
definitely meet in
she's
the
like,
bookstore.
"Man, I sure am glad I'm going to my book club." I feel like I heard that part at some point.
They meet at the bookstore.
It's
For sure.
very, very loosely tied to a book club.
Yeah.
Great question, Christina. Oh my gosh, diving into it eventually.
Tangentially.
They're meeting they're meeting at a bookstore. Tangentially. Yes, they've grown apart in recent years. I love it. Okay, so that's book 2, and then book 3 is Tall, Duke, and Scandalous. He is gorgeous, isn't he? He
Yeah.
reminds me of the guy, oh golly, what's his name? He was 4 in the Divergent series. He was also at the beginning of Downton Abbey. He passes away, like, in the first episode. What is
I
his
know.
name?
I
I
don't.
see him all the time in historical posts on Instagram. It's gonna drive
Mm.
me nuts. But anyway, looks like him. And this one is about Jane Delaney and Christopher Marsden, and neither of those names is ringing a bell at the
That
moment.
might be her other friend.
Okay. The other one in the Byronic Book Club.
Yeah, that you like kind of get a glimpse of. You don't really know much about her.
Mm,
Um, I love the green though. Green, my favorite color. So of course,
These
and look
covers.
at that dress and that eye contact
I
and
know.
the chair. I don't know. Is the chair appropriate for the time period? That looks like a recliner. But
I take issue with this cover. I already know Terry's going, that's a prom dress.
She is.
You know it. I actually now sometimes think that when I see these, I'm like, would Terry call this a prom dress? And this one here, you have another. I feel like that's appropriate to the time period. And I love that we have the library in the background. Is there a library in the background of the third one? I wasn't even paying attention. I'm too busy looking at them. Oh, there is.
Oh, there is.
With a ladder.
I wonder if she's the one who's the dad owns the store.
I bet she is.
Yeah.
I bet she is. Theo James, thank you. He was in Sanditon.
Okay.
He was in Sanditon?
I haven't watched Sanditon yet.
Okay, Tara, do you know what Sanditon is? We figured out how to do this.
Is it like a period drama?
It's Jane Austen's book that she never finished.
Oh.
Be another thing we do. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Well, apparently I just need to watch that or wait.
Oh, Terry just said Jane is the one whose the bookstores belongs to her grandfather. There you go.
See, I thought it was father. It's grandfather.
You were close. You had me convinced. I was convinced. Okay, remove.
Oh.
Well, we've talked about many things. One question I still have is, Nicole, how are we feeling now? Beginning, we weren't sure.
Dude, look at Terry's comment.
Let's read the blurb. Okay, well, anyone can read the blurb, Terry.
We don't want to. I'm just kidding.
We already read a whole book. Now you're going to make us read blurbs? The Sanditon TV show is really good. I watched all 3 seasons recently. Oh boy, oh boy. I'm so excited about doing a read along. You had it on the screen. Oh,
it was too small for me.
It was too small.
We just have excuses today, Terry.
There's so very many excuses. I can't talk. I can't read. Can't remember the name.
Tired.
Can't remember anybody's name.
No, I never can.
I just remember Gaston now from Disney. That's kind of what's staying with me. Who's the old lady here, Tara?
Me today.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm getting up there.
Oh, Tara, how are you even still alive? You're so old.
I have a crick in my back from sleeping.
Oh, just kidding. Oh my gosh.
Woe is me.
I can't. Oh, you poor thing. I mean, I do feel you on the tired. I do feel on that. Oh man, and being up with a sick kid overnight, that's tough. That's rough. So we've covered a lot because there are many plot points. They abound in this book. And I was just wondering if there's anything that I forgot. Tell us what it was like, Tara, but way back then.
It was interesting.
What happened? It was interesting.
A little unsanitary.
Love it. Yeah, is there anything else? Or what about you, Tara? Is there anything that you feel like we need to cover that we didn't cover? Because there's so many things to cover.
The only thing that I think we didn't cover too much is his daughter. And the relationship.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was just curious, like, what people thought, if they thought that was too easy for her to come. Because at first she was like, no, you're not replacing my mom. You know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just curious what others thought about.
Yeah, I love that.
Between Artemis and, it starts with a C, right?
Celeste. Yeah. We definitely need to talk about Celeste more. And Phantom Rider just brought up something that I was going to mention something else too. I just wanted to say there was no real third act breakup. And that's actually another plot point that I didn't mention yet, that I wonder if that's what that was meant to potentially do, but then it doesn't. I'll explain. Towards the end, we hear Artemis go, but what if I can't get pregnant? And I was like, wait, is this another concern now that we're having another plot point of what are we going to do? I cannot have a baby. And
I'm kind of glad they didn't go there. They didn't, that she just becomes open to maybe having kids. Like, even then, like, what was her real reasoning as to why she didn't? Because I think that could, if you looked at that differently, if she really was adamant about not having children, like, then that is obviously her choice. But like, then she's like kind of open to it at the end. Was it because of like her family and her upbringing? And then now she's met this man who isn't going to treat, if she has girls, you know, I don't know. They didn't delve into that either. But I was glad that she didn't end up pregnant at the end, because I think that would have annoyed me a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it was really just an excuse for them to make out in a bunch of rooms with books in them, even on the train.
You're not wrong.
I mean, the main reason he wanted to get married in the beginning was to give Celeste a female role model and have an heir. She knew that was important to him, possibly a deal breaker. Okay, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So that's why, but when she was concerned about that towards the end, like, I don't remember even thinking about this, but you're exactly right, Abby Jean. I mean, he needs an heir.
Yeah.
He needs an heir. And yeah,
he's got one. I'm just kidding.
Again, part of the time back then.
Too forward thinking.
You're just too, it's because you roomed with Mary Wollstonecraft, isn't it?
It is. Look at me.
And she still looks fabulous. She looks amazing. I love it. Oh man. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree though. It was nice that there was no third act breakup, and that they handled the whole thing of, will I have kids? Can I have kids? I mean, he handled that really well. You know, they just sort of discussed it and moved on. So yeah. Yeah. Closing thoughts, anyone? Did anyone's rating change?
I think I'm still gonna leave it at a 4-star.
Okay.
But I'm like, is it a 3.5? Just because there were a lot of plot points that weren't like fleshed out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But a lot of people love this book, you know, everybody, I love it. Was so funny because I realized my beef about it with the plot points as I'm talking about them. I'm like, I'm just basically talking about the plot of a book. Like, what's my problem? Like, why am I not loving this as much? But again, like, I don't know if it was, I know for some of us, it might've been narration. For some of us, it might have been coming off of some great reads or being in a reading slump. But then again, you know, many people loved it. They loved it. So, and I know there are people planning on reading the rest of the series in 2 to 4 business years, or whatever, 1 to 2 business years.
Told you.
I'm coming back to this, Terry. I'm coming back, I promise. And there wasn't really any miscommunication. Yeah. Or at least it didn't last long. That's true. Yeah. Because that can drive us crazy. I see that a lot in contemporary romance. Like, would you please just talk about your feelings? Just explain it.
Sometimes you just talk to the person that you're making out with, and it works.
Just stop making out for a minute and talk. There was like a new adult hockey romance I read not too long ago, and I was like, please, can you just stop kissing for 1 second so you can talk about this? It drove me nuts. I was like, come on. Terry says, you definitely had some loose ends in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some I'm sure will be figured out in the second book of the series. What I learned today, B hates dirty jokes. I thought the curse words and euphemisms were hilarious, a play on velvet steel, but I understand if that bothered you or would drive you crazy. It was just so many times. She does. I mean, she is quirky, and I appreciate that Amy Rose Bennett tries to write an author who is different. You know, she's got a fun sense of humor. She's got a fun way that she phrases things. I enjoy that. I know Lindsay Lovis comes to mind, or Lovis comes to mind with Never Blow a Kiss. Just the fun phrasings. Yeah. I love when we have a heroine that's not just some cookie cutter and is kind of quirky and different, and you know. So a lot of times it did hit for me, but occasionally I was like, especially after I looked up Truncheon, I was like, oh no. I was like, no, thank you. She was often mentioned to be smart, and I'm often worried smart heroines become dumb during books. Here, she was smart all along. Oh,
That
I
is
love
true.
that.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. Okay, you might have just bumped up my rating. I think you might have done it. Also, I imagine that you have experienced, but it's only been with Gaston.
Horrible. He was too busy looking at himself.
That's right. Oh man.
Staring at his truncheon.
That's right. It's a Titanic truncheon. Kate Bateman talked about that in her interview. She said it's easier to write historical because there's often built-in conflicts. Yeah. In contemporaries, they have to create miscommunications, right?
That's
So
true.
true. So true. Yeah. That's a good point. All right. So, Terry, that's not the one. Terry, there we are. We're going to be talking about when we're meeting for voting at the beginning of April.
Yeah.
I don't think we've talked about this yet, have we,
We
Terry?
haven't. I was actually going to talk to you about it. We can talk about it right now if you want, but I was going to talk about it after the show.
Oh, we can also talk about it now. That's fine.
Yeah.
We're doing Anna Harrington's
If the Duke Demands.
If the Duke Demands. I was just going to say that. If the Duke Demands. I actually bought myself a copy. I'm so excited downstairs for Pete's sake. But yeah, Anna Harrington's If the Duke Demands. Really looking forward to that. That's our April book club pick.
Yes. And
that's going to be on your channel.
It is.
Yeah.
And then I know are Fridays still good?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking I can't do the first week of April because my surprise is coming in, which is my husband.
Oh boy!
Yay!
Hey! Is he coming back for good or just for
Nope, he's coming back for good.
Yay! Oh my gosh!
And then, so I was thinking the 11th of April. So that would give us like a week.
Yeah.
You know, because I just don't want to schedule something because I don't know when his flight's coming in or, you know, what's going on that week.
Yeah.
So would the 11th at 7?
I think that works.
Okay. Let me know. If not, I can do other times that week because the boys are not in sports. And even if they were, he'd be home.
Yay! Yeah, Friday the 11th is the beginning of our spring break. So, but you know, I don't think we're going to be doing anything Friday evening.
You have something on the 11th, is what Terry says.
You know, I thought I did. I was like, I feel like I do. Terry,
you have the Hathaways on that Friday.
I was like, I feel like I have something.
Terry has your calendar. She lets us both know.
Thank goodness for Terry. That's all I can say. Because I was like, I feel like, and I was looking at my calendar. I hadn't added it to the calendar I was looking at. Okay, so I can't do the 11th because I have the Hathaways. Thank you, Terry. I'm so embarrassed. So glad we're doing this live. Who is surprised? No one. No one.
They are used to our antics.
Well, this is very true.
And they keep coming back.
It's because they're good people. That's why. It's not because of me. It's because of them.
We could do
so I mean, we could do Thursday. Oh no, you said you could do midweek because your husband's home.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wouldn't have to take the boys to soccer or basketball or any sports.
Nice. We could pencil Wednesday the 9th. Or 10th, or
we could go back to Wednesdays because I know we were doing Wednesdays and we moved them from Fridays.
Yeah,
as sports for me.
Yeah,
so we could go back to Wednesdays.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so let's do Wednesday the 9th at 7. I'm going to put it in my calendar right now, along with the Hathaways.
Got to put that in before you forget.
I know. I tell you. Well, it's on my other calendar. That's the thing. I need to just combine all my calendars. I need to sync them. Okay, but I'm going to put it here.
And Mary says I had that on the 18th.
What? No. Stop. Don't tell me that, Mary. No.
He needs to figure. figure out when the Hathaways is happening.
I promise it's the 11th. And you know why I know this? Because Christy of Christy Reads a Lot told me. She made a graphic. That's the only way I know for sure. Otherwise, Mary would have completely convinced me just now. It is its own kind of drama. It is. Thank you. Okay, so Wednesday, April 9th will be the reading sprints on Tara's channel where we are reading whatever we want.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be voting for May's book club pick.
Yes.
No. Yes.
Yeah, May. Well, we're going to have to vote for 2 things, right? We have to vote for May's book club pick.
Well, wait, isn't it May's trope?
May's trope.
You're right. You're right. May's book club
theme
pick.
For the next month.
Theme for June.
June's theme, May's book.
Which has no theme.
Yes.
Yes. So May's book.
April was flowers, and we voted if the Duke demands.
Yes.
And then, so May would be nothing. We're just going to look at the things and figure out, we'll do our voting for the May book. Right? And then June is the runner-up. So we have to look at the runner-ups and then decide which ones we want to read.
Okay. Well, we can do that in May.
Yeah.
So we only have to do one thing.
There we go.
During the reading sprints with friends. We're just voting for May's book pick, which has...
That works because we won't have a theme for both of those months. Because the theme is runner-up.
There you go. The theme is runner-up. Wow, Tara, that was amazing. Look at
you. We've done it.
I mean, that was massive.
A bunch of Sherlocks over here.
You know it. You know it. I love it. Okay, so June is runner-up. So in May, during our reading sprints, we will...
Mary Wollstonecraft would be so happy.
So very proud. Vindication of the rights of women to remember something at some point.
Oh, we got to choose.
Oh, geez. Crystal, there may be something in May you want to think about. That's a good point, Crystal.
Fair.
The only thing we are voting for May. Yes, Terry, thank you.
Yep, that's it.
I've heard those rumblings, Crystal. Oh, Abby Jean's heard the rumblings too. She's very excited. We're gonna have so much fun. And in May, voting for the runner-ups from February to May. See, that's crystal clear. Yep.
We're on the theme, Crystal.
We are on theme, Crystal.
All right, I think we got this.
We did it. Man, we're amazing.
Hooray!
We did it. Oh, do we need to decide when the book club is going to be meeting to talk about Anna Harrington's book? Do we need to talk about that? So we would be doing the reading sprints on the 9th, Wednesday. And then would it be like, the 20th is Easter. I think we did talk about this.
I don't think we did.
Maybe that was with my wallflowers, because I think the 27th then would be the most realistic.
Yeah, the 27th.
Yeah, because we can't do the 20th.
Yeah. And I'm gonna reach out to Anna Harrington, but I don't know how active she is. So we'll see.
I don't know either. I don't know. I love Terry's like, you could talk about this offline. Why would we do that, Terry? We want everyone to know how confused I am.
You didn't want to come to our brainstorming sessions?
Let's do that live. Brainstorming with B. Just a bunch of me going, which calendar is that? What's happening? Someone help me. Terry, where's Terry? So your ducks will be in a row. Yes.
My ducks are never in a row.
I know.
In fact, I don't even know where my ducks are half the time.
We need that on a pillow.
Have you seen the meme where it's like the ducks and they're in the back of a cop car? That's where my ducks are. They've been confiscated.
Oh my gosh. My kids have been talking about that. In fact, my 5-year-old continues to call 911 991. And she'll be like, she talks to her brother. She's like, I'm calling 991 on you. And they're like, no. I'm like, that's a play phone. And also, it's not 991. Like, please get this right.
Please learn this. We need
We need to know.
To know this.
We need to get this right. You're typing like me now, Terry.
She's getting frustrated with us. We don't know what's happening.
Guys,
like, I gotta tell them.
Oh, but I love what Terry says. Your duck is coming to town soon, Tara.
Yeah. He's the only thing that keeps me in line. I don't know what's happening, what day of the week.
Thank goodness he's coming. Tell me again when the Hathaways is. Okay, so Mary. All right, let's do this. April 11th. It's Friday. It's 7 p.m., I believe. I want to say it's 7 p.m. I'm going to look because I want to tell you for sure. It is. Oh, for Pete's sake. I have the older one. I'm going to post everything, guys. It is, she didn't get, where are the ones that she gave me that were updated? Okay, she didn't give me the updated ones, or at least I haven't downloaded the updated ones. It's definitely April 11th. And then it's either at 7 or 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's a Friday. I'm going to post just everything, just everywhere. People are going to be like, why is she posting this again? I just want to make sure it's clear. I feel so bad. Abby, is it the fault of my Bluetooth keyboard? It is the fault of my Bluetooth keyboard. 991 is the hotline for annoying siblings.
True story.
No, it is 8 p.m. Thank you, Terry. You said the 11th at 8 p.m. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm officially super embarrassed. Just like, oh, goodness gracious. I'm glad we did.
Look for that on Instagram or YouTube posts.
I will email you privately. I will email you. I will call you. I'll tell you.
I will FaceTime you.
I will write you a letter and let you know.
It may not get there by the 11th.
Of course. And it's Eastern Daylight, not Eastern Standard. Okay. Eastern Daylight. Okay. Eastern Daylight.
I think it's because daylight savings time.
Oh, okay. Just to complicate things.
I say EST too.
Okay. I know it's because as soon as you said it, I updated the post. Oh, thank you. I'm going to know all the things in like an hour when we're not live, and I'm going to update everything. I'm going to do it on Discord, Instagram, YouTube.
Everywhere.
I'm going to find a billboard.
I will know all the dates, all the times, and all the things.
You guys are going to be so impressed.
I'm already impressed.
I'll pay you later, Tara. Check is also coming in the mail.
I take books, yeah.
Well, this was fun, most of it.
If you're watching this on the replay, maybe the last 20 minutes.
I know. I should put that in my description box. Please only watch the first hour of this, or hour and a half. Oh my.
Well, I laughed so hard I cried, so that's fair.
And then I cried so hard I laughed. So maybe you can edit it later, B. Yes, that's what I'll do.
And all the time,
the middle. Let's, you know what we should do? I'll edit all this out, and then let's all of a sudden act like none of this happened. None of the last 20 minutes happened. And we'll just be like, so that was amazing, right?
It was great.
It was so great.
Such a good discussion.
So good. And you know what? I loved that neither of us was confused at all, especially me, you know?
We nailed it.
We sure did. Oh, brother. Paige says, so happy for you, Tara. Thank you for all the fun afternoon. Looking forward to Anna Harrington. Yes, and I love how Paige is on topic. Thank you, Paige, for helping me get out of this hole. Yeah, I'm really excited about that book.
Me too. I've already read it and love it, so I'm here for the reread.
And I believe we had another was it Cheryl? I'm trying to remember who else. There was at least one or maybe even two others.
I think it was Cheryl who said she had read it and liked it.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I think it's going to be so good. I'll have to reread it because I don't remember that much about it except the beginning. Oh, yay.
Beginning, really, that's one of my favorite scenes. Like the scenes that I think about that are great meet cutes.
Yeah.
It's that is one.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, how fun. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Yay. Well, this has been all kinds of things today, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And this discussion was incredible. You guys you really, really impressed me. Yeah, looking forward to Anna Harrington. Everyone, enjoy your week. Have a great one. And we will see you for the next Tea and Biscuits reading sprints with friends on Wednesday, April 9th at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And we will be voting for the May book club pick.
Yeah. That is what we'll be doing.
Yep. And on Tara's channel also, by the way.
That is where we'll be.
Yep. You hear all that, you guys?
You did great. I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Tara.
We can do
hard things. It takes a village. Oh man. I had great questions. Oh, thank you. I tried. Oh yeah, you guys, your comments seriously were just amazing. Bye guys. Oh, bye. Bye Wyoming and bye Silly. Bye Alicia, bye Crystal, and we will see you on the 9th of April. Take care.
Bye.